Welcome to Rams Iconic. I'm your host, DeMarco Farr, and this is the podcast where I get to catch up with some of the greatest players in Rams history. It's a chance for you, the fans, to take a trip down memory lane and reminisce about some of the greatest moments you've had as Rams fans, but also an opportunity to introduce to some of our newbies, our newer fans, the iconic players that have made this franchise what it is right now. Special edition of Rams Iconic. We're here with you from Penthouse 56 in downtown Los Angeles, hosted by the LA Rams and SoFi, leading up to Super Bowl 56 this Sunday. Another legend, like I said, another Hall of Fame legend, multiple-time Pro Bowler, first-team All-Pro. Can I say cornerback or safety? Which one would you like me to introduce you as, cornerback or safety?
When you do 12 at corner and you do 2 at safety, you probably need to say cornerback.
That's what I said, yeah. Cornerback, Aeneas Williams. That's that voice right there. What's up, man? How are you?
I am fantastic. Glad to be here with you, man. It's kind of like DJ Khaled. These legends keep coming up. Another one.
Another legend. Absolutely, man. I mean, look, how special is this to be in a Super Bowl, number one? Number two, to have a Super Bowl in your own city. How is that?
Well, it's special, one, just to see the entire team and how they've developed with Coach under Sean McVay.
Yeah.
And the talent that they have. OBJ, my fellow New Orleanian, seeing him get this opportunity, seeing a Stafford who was in a position like I was 10 years with Arizona on a one-winning season.
Wow.
And now he comes out here and has an opportunity to play with a brilliant mind, great players. Those are the type of stories that I love to see.
Well, let's stay with that, with the Matt Stafford for a hot minute. I mean, you were in Arizona, like you said, toiling away. You were a great player, but the team wasn't very good.
Right.
Kind of like Matthew Stafford. How did you not give up hope that someday we'll get over the hump and I'll win a championship, if not with this group?
Understanding how important it is, and anybody that's listening, that to not allow your surrounding to cause it to become you. As it relates to the standard of excellence, I didn't care what the game was. I didn't care how many games we had won or lost. My preparation and what I needed to do to prepare myself, whether we won or lost, was a standard that I had. And the late John Madden actually told my father when I got inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, he says, you have to understand, Mr. Williams, that Aeneas being in the Pro Football Hall of Fame is unique because a lot of these guys come off winning teams.
Right.
And when the Rams traded for me, DeMarco, Coach March said to me, even though when we looked at the film of you, when you guys were losing, we could not tell the way you were playing the game.
Not at all. I remember. Yeah, I remember watching film, and like you said, the standard is the standard. That kind of describes you perfectly because, I mean, Arizona was Arizona, but Aeneas Williams was an island. You know what I mean? And you can get lost there.
It's interesting you say that because a lot of people don't know. Number one, I used to be fearful. I didn't think I could play in Buddy Ryan's system. So literally, I was a restricted free agent going into my 4th year. Coach Joe Bugle gets fired, and Buddy Ryan gets the job. I told my wife, I said, I don't know if I'm going back to the Cardinals because I heard that Buddy Ryan wasn't a player's coach. It actually wasn't true. And just like wives do typically, she said, why you really don't want to go? And the truth is, I wasn't sure that I can handle the island. And literally, once I signed back, this is when I found out how God works. It puts you in situations to draw things out of you.
Wow.
So literally, Buddy Ryan, when we got there, his 2 boys, the twins, Rex and Rob.
Yeah.
Rob was my defensive back coach, right? Rob put his arms around me right after I signed, and this is the power of coaches and their belief in a player. He says, Aeneas, you can lead this league in interceptions. And by the way, I was Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Right.
So I had a good career starting out my first 3 years. He says, Aeneas, you can lead this league in interceptions, make All-Pro, and the Pro Bowl. He said, I saw you set the national record your last year in college, 11 interceptions. You could do that here. DeMarco, I literally did it. And in training camp, Rob's dad, Coach Buddy Ryan, said, I'm now putting Aeneas on the best receiver.
Ooh.
Whereas before in Houston, in Chicago, he always kept his corners left and right. And he gave Rob the permission to allow me to be the first Revis Island.
To let you travel.
To let me travel.
You were the first traveling cornerback.
In his system.
Oh, my goodness.
He didn't believe in that. It was left and right. But Rob believed the intelligence, because the other thing about being a shutdown corner is understanding if you don't have a guy that's intelligent and has the ability to adjust, then you can always know that the team is in one-on-one. But when you have a guy who has the ability, even in zone, you go across the formation to understand I could become a weak side linebacker. I can end up being a nickel corner. And you have to know this And that's what I like seeing with Jalen Ramsey.
I was just going to say, you were describing Jalen Ramsey now.
Yes.
I mean, I think he's more than just a corner. You
Absolutely.
can't say he's a corner. He's a defensive player, period, because of how many places you put him. Like you said, I mean, do you watch him and say, I understand what he's thinking because I've done the same stuff?
No doubt.
Yeah.
And I never forget when, I think it was Josh Norman, signed a huge contract with the Washington Redskins.
Yeah.
I think they were playing early in the season of that first contract. They were playing against Antonio Brown and the Steelers.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
But the coach didn't match him up with Antonio Brown, and Antonio Brown was killing them.
Right.
And a lot of people saying, they gave him all this money. Why didn't they match him up? Here's what you have to understand. You not only have to have a guy who can cover, you have to have a guy who can make adjustments.
Wow.
Where you don't have him now, you've gotten him out of his comfort zone. Now he's thinking. I wanted to see that with Jalen Ramsey. He can go and shut down a guy. Think about Richard Sherman.
Yeah.
Most time he was
one side.
Left corner, right? That I won't diminish that. Won't take anything from him.
Great player, but he played one side of the field.
But when you're moving around, and what I'm seeing, what they've done and what Jalen has done, that has shown me so much about his ceiling is so much higher, where some coaches would have just limited him to covering a wide receiver on the outside.
Wow. Well, let me ask you this. So when they say the best corner in the game,
yeah.
I'll ask you your opinion. Mm-hmm. What is the criteria to be the best cornerback in the game? One
criteria is you have to be able to find and be matched up one-on-one with the best receiver.
And you have to want to.
You have to want it.
Yeah.
You have to. So that's the first criteria.
Yeah.
Second criteria is the ability, if they're going to move the guy. So, for example, how I love Cooper Kupp and everything he's doing, it is still mind-boggling that as good as he is, as good as he's shown to be, he still ends up wide open. To all of the kids who are playing football, who are thinking about playing defensive back, I'm thinking about having a camp this spring because I can't understand how Cooper, and man, let me make sure, he's outstanding. 6'2", excellent route runner, run after the catch, excellent cerebral skills. So he has it all. So I'm not dismissing it. But what I am saying is, particularly when you have a number of guys that are undisciplined with their eyes, undisciplined holding their leverage,
right,
it makes covering that guy impossible.
I just had this conversation with another guy on the radio. He asked me, how does Cooper Kupp keep getting open? I didn't have an answer. I don't know. And you don't know.
No, I do know. Right. Every time I see Isaac Torrey or any receiver, I ask him the question. But it's rhetorical when I ask. Coach McVay, OBJ being there. Unfortunately, Robert going out, Robert Woods.
Oh, man.
But OBJ, the tight end, and Sean's willingness to coach to spread the ball, but also be creative with him, moving him around. Going back to the original question, what makes a guy a great corner? If they put him in the backfield, do I have the ability to go line up on him?
Wow.
If they put him at tight end, do I have the ability to now line up on him and still hold my leverage?
That's the answer. They move him around so many spaces. Not many guys can do that.
Absolutely.
I think the Rams actually have the guy that can do that. And they're on the same team.
And with a lot of the teams, a number of these defensive really do not want to complicate the game for a lot of these young men. Because if you start adjusting as it relates to Cooper moving, shifts, and all of those things, all of a sudden now you have a defensive back who's second-guessing. We see him get behind, 10 yards in that Tampa game.
Yeah.
You see in a zero coverage.
He's guessing.
Right. Or you have some kind of hesitation because you've changed your call because he moved around.
Don't get me started on these younger players. See, we had it rough. You know, it's a different style enough. Speaking of that, when you see Brett Favre, what does he say to you? I just got to know.
But besides Brett, Brett did it, but also many don't remember the same thing. We upset the Dallas Cowboys in the playoffs, and I intercepted Troy Aikman twice.
And you got McNabb
I got McNabb the last turnover in the game. But what people don't remember is how much flack I get from the San Francisco 49ers fans.
Why do you get flack from them?
Because I was the last one to hit Steve Young.
You knocked him cold and put him out. That's right.
And it was a legal hit. It would have been legal today. I didn't use my head. I used my shoulder pads, right?
Yeah.
So finally at the hall, because I was getting so much flack, social media, every time I went somewhere from 49er fans, I say, Steve Young, I need you to tell your 49ers fans that I didn't end your career. He says, no, Aeneas, and they need to know, Aeneas, you helped me make one of the best decisions of my life. Number one, I didn't hang around longer than I should.
Good point.
Number two, I got married, and then I got this great ESPN contract. I said, would you put this on video? So I recorded it, and then I posted it on social media. You
knocked him into marriage. I like that. That's good. That's good. That's one way to get to the altar. I like it. Well, do me a favor. We do this on Rams Iconic. And is it the Steve Young hit? Your favorite play as a Ram? Can you describe your favorite play?
Favorite play as a Ram is in that divisional playoff game. What many don't remember, I had 2 interceptions returned for a touchdown. I also had a strip fumble that I ran 80 yards back, but it was called back because Antonio Freeman barely touched me.
I remember this.
Incidentally, when I got up and ran, and just remembering that, getting the ball out, and how important what Coach Levitt was to get the ball and making that a priority. That's what I remember.
See, I would have gone with the Steve Young hit. See, you ended Steve Young. For me, I was happy. I was cheering. Absolutely.
Yeah, because you don't have the 49er fans coming after you, man. I have to be careful because we're in California.
I lost a bunch to the Niners. See, I'm coming after them. It's the other way around. Aeneas, man, thank you for joining us, man. Good stuff.
Thank you.
Your prediction for the game real quick.
10 points.
10 points.
L.A. Rams.
10-point victory.
10-point victory. That front four getting after Joe Burrow. If Tennessee got him 8 times, if the Rams get him 5 or more times, he won't be doing the same thing he did when Tennessee hit him.
My man, Aeneas Williams. Thank you, man.